Yo guys, what's going on? My name is Ryder. Welcome back to a brand new video on Hijomeatman News, and today we're going to be going through the Sepang private test lineup that is taking place obviously at Sepang on the 24th to the 26th of January. So we're going to start off with Ducati, and they will be running their two usual test riders, Casey Stoner and Michele Pirro. Both of them guys I believe will be present at the main test in a couple of days after this, but for the private test, Casey Stoner and Michele Pirro will be out on the Ducati bike. Stoner obviously very fast rider, had the past success with Ducati, and then Michele Pirro rides Ducatis in pretty much every championship you can think of, and he's very fast. We've seen in a couple of wildcards that he's done, he has been pretty quick, and it's good that Ducati can get a rider like Pirro and Stoner to get themselves back out there on circuit in Sepang. Now we'll move over to Honda. Three riders that Honda have brought over to Sepang: Stefan Bradl, Takumi Takashi and Hiroshi Oyama. Now Bradl did ride in the Red Bull Honda World Superbike team in 2017, had a bit of a crash, injured himself, got forced to sit out the last 2 or 3 rounds of the season, and I believe Takashi actually replaced him, who is the next test rider we'll quickly just talk about. But Bradl's been given the opportunity to go back onto a MotoGP Honda to do some testing at Sepang, and we'll see whether or not he still has the pace as what he did have when he was on the LCR Honda in MotoGP a few years ago. Now Takumi Takashi and Hiroshi Oyama, both of them riders, obviously they're Japanese, they're test riders, they're there for testing. We've seen both of these guys when they were actually in the wildcard or replacement, they didn't really have the pace compared to, you know, the main men. So I'm not really focusing on them too much when I'll be looking back at the news from the private test, which we should be able to do what we did last year, a quick roundup of a few things that teams will be testing, either, you know, things that they'll be preparing to then retest in the main test, or some private little parts that they want to keep a little bit hidden away, so they do it in the private test when there's no cameras or anything going about. But as for Takashi and Oyama, they're test riders. They're there to simply test, and I don't think they will be troubling the timesheets at all. Then we go to KTM, who obviously is bringing Mika Kallio there as their only test rider for the Sepang private test. Now obviously Mika Kallio has done some wildcards in the past seasons that's just gone, 2017, and well, on many occasions he's shown that he can be faster than both of the KTM riders, Paulo Espargaro and Bradley Smith. So Kallio, obviously he's there just, again, test rider, just to see what he can do on the KTM bike and see whether or not they can make another step forward, ready for Bradley Smith and Paulo Espargaro to step on it in the Sepang test, which is on the 28th to the 31st of January. And then on the Aprilia is Matteo Biocco, who has been given the chance to go and test ride the MotoGP Aprilia. Not too sure why he's been given that opportunity, if he's done something in another championship that me and Jamie don't follow, but Matteo Biocco will be on the Aprilia for the Sepang test, and I'm not sure how well he will go, only time will tell. And then we go over to Suzuki, which is a little bit interesting because they have Sylvain Guintoli, the French rider who rides the Suzuki and the British Superbikes, and then they also have 3 new entrants as well, which isn't even on the list that we have been given. It's not even on this list, but it has been released. You might have seen our Instagram account has put it on. Michael Dunlop from the TT, the 15-time TT winner, he will be out there on the test bike. Tony Elias will be making a return to MotoGP on the Suzuki bike, and then also Josh Waters, the Australian championship rider, he will be moving in to the Sepang circuit for the private test as well. Now I'm not sure if them 4 riders, Guintoli, Dunlop, Elias and Waters, will be then riding again for the big main test in a few days after this private one. We're not quite sure yet, but Michael Dunlop will be out on a MotoGP bike. A TT rider will be joining a MotoGP group and going out on a GP bike, which will be very interesting to see. And then we take a look at Yamaha, who will be running their 2 usual riders, Nakasuga and then also Kota Nozane, who filled in for Folger at Motegi. But Nakasuga, he got an interesting podium in very tricky conditions at Valencia, and apart from that, he's not really that much. Now Kota Nozane, he didn't really get to prove his pace in Japan because he did kind of break his hand in a crash, but I believe on the first day, on Friday, he was actually faster than both of the Movistar Yamaha riders, Maverick Vinales and Valentino Rossi, who obviously was kind of struggling with the bike in general in the wet. Rossi had about 3 crashes in a weekend. Maverick was all over the place. So that bike really was not fun to ride. And Nazaré was obviously on the 2016 bike, which is a nice bike to ride in the wet, so he had that little bit of an advantage over them, but he was quicker than them on Friday, broke his hand on Saturday, crashed again in the race. So Nazaré and Nakasuga obviously there for the test riders, and then we have 3 other riders who I'm going to hold my hands up to this. I have never actually heard of 2 of them. I've heard of 1 of them, and that is Fujita, and then the other 2 I haven't heard of is I'm not even going to try and pronounce their first names. I'm not going to lie, I cannot say that. Madea and Itawa, they will be out on a Yamaha as well for the private test on the 24th to the 26th of January, and if we see any news on that that's important, we'll be putting it up on our Twitter, which you can follow us. It's at HMSGP, and then also our Instagram as well. We'll probably be filling up some stories as well on there, and then we can stay up to date with what's going over at Sepang over there. So that is about it for today. If you guys have enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe. Remember as well, we will be doing the official Let's Talk for the Sepang official test. That is running the 28th to the 30th of January, and we will be uploading the Let's Talk sometime in the week after that. So it'll probably be midweek, Wednesday, Thursday time for that Let's Talk of the official test. And then we also have the Buriram official test on the 16th to the 18th of February. Then the final test in Qatar before the season kicks off. That is on the 1st to the 3rd of March. So there we go. Like I said, hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and we will see you with a brand new video very soon. Until then, thank you for watching, and goodbye.